Alright, we are in part 2 of sanding this car down, prepping it for paint. So I'm going to walk you through what I've done so far, maybe if you've missed in part 1, or just what I've kind of done since we last seen. So we got the doors all sanded down. They are down to like 220, 240 grit, something like that. Same with the rear quarter panel. Take a walk around. Still got the bumper, haven't touched the bumper. Got the emblem off the fuel cap. Got that sanded nice and smooth. Same with this side of the quarter panel. Everything down to 220. This door down to 220. We got most of this. Just got a little section here that I got to finish up that I'm going to work on now. Got the little ball off the antenna. That's out of the way. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I went around and marked spots that need some filler or just extra touch-up. Like I got a little Sharpie mark here, there, just little spots. I'm just going to give them light coats of filler, just the bare minimum of what it needs. And yeah. One thing I did not mention in the last video, this trim, I've been trying to figure out the best way to take this trim off, if I should take it off. And apparently there's a special tool and then you can pry it out, but with prying it out you kind of you risk damaging the little plastic clips. If you break the clip, then people say you have to pull the window out and take the window out to replace those clips, so I really don't want to go through that. As it is right now, I'm just going to try my best to get it sanded and have it painted with the trim still on. But if you got a suggestion for me, let me know, because that would be appreciated. Got this top little section all sanded down, from 80 to 120 to now 220/240, something like that. So now I'm going to work on peel and clear coat. Same thing I did in the process in the back. I'm going to take a razor blade and take off as much as I can and then start sanding. So I'm going to skip over the razor blade and I'll show you when I'm ready to start sanding. Got the clear coat in the front section, all the peel and clear coat all razor bladed off. So now let's start sanding this. In doing that, there's a lot more attention to that this front area is going to need. So in the last video we pointed out this big crack and another crack here. There's also a couple chips in the paint here that will need to be filled up. A chip here, a couple here. This is going to need some work. This is bad. And then here's the worst on this side. This is down through the gel coat. Day 2 of part 2. Let's keep sanding. It's starting to hit me how much stuff actually needs to come off to paint this car. So I took the license plate off. I took off the side marker light on this side. I'm trying to get to this emblem. I looked through the back and it just has little mounting tabs, so I just need to take like fishing line or something and pull it out. I sanded the top of the headlight things, and then I opened it up and I realized like this needs to be painted too. This whole assembly. So, and then there's a backside to it. So I think what I'm gonna do is just take the headlights out. There's screws here, so then this front part will come out, and then maybe that's all I have to do. Maybe I don't have to worry about the back, because the back is still the color. I don't know if the color is gonna match perfectly or what. Alright, I believe this is day 3 of part 2 to this sanding. So just gonna catch you up on what we've done so far. So got this fender all sanded down to 80, 120, and then 220/240. So that's all good. Still got to work on this front fascia area. Got this headlight done. Pretty sure that, yeah, that headlight's done too. So both the eyelids are done. Got this fender all done too. Same thing. Even the little nook and crannies in there. Most of the hood is sanded on 220. We were working on that yesterday. So still got to finish that. And then today I got to get the front bumper sanded and possibly the rear sanded too. So I have this little can of Bondo body filler. I've had it for probably 2 years now. I didn't use all of it then, and I kept it. So had a couple things of hardener. I figured the hardener would go bad, but I tried a little test spot, and yeah, this is body fill that I sanded down, and I only had a really big, like, putty spatula thing, so I had to do it in a much bigger area than I should, and actually missed a spot. You can see. So I got to touch that up, but I mean, this feels good, and it stuck to the paint. I mean, it wasn't going to bare fiberglass, so That's why I don't need the epoxy stuff if it's not going to bare fiberglass. And then I tried the glazing putty that I had, and it was just water, basically. So that's what this stain is. So I need to get that stain out. Yeah. I do see some clear coat spots that I need to touch up, but I mean, for the most part, got it done. Now, I originally planned to take off both the front and the rear bumper, but after investigating on the rear bumper some more, I don't see how this bumper is going to come off and still stay together. This thing, the bracket that holds it in, it has like 18 bolts or something crazy like that. They're studs and then little nuts. It's all like rusted, and I'm sure if I try to do it, most of them won't come out. They'll break the studs off, or actually I saw in one spot, out of all of it in one spot, it already detached from the urethane. Like the little fiberglass attachment to the urethane is detached in one spot. So most of it is held together, which is good. The urethane is kind of soft and really flexible, probably more than it should be. But for my purposes, I'm going to plan to just get this painted with the bumper on the car instead of taking it off. Plus, I believe the paint I'm going with is going to have a bit of a metallic flake in it, and I've heard that you're supposed to paint it all together, otherwise the metallic is going to lay differently and you'll be able to notice it. But yeah, so I'm going to have to take off the taillights, license plate, Corvette logo. And yeah, so, but I don't have anything under this, so I'm not going to sand it. I'm going to work on the front bumper right now, but that's my plan, just letting you guys know. I'm going to leave the front bumper on too, might as well, since I'm leaving the rear on. Plus the front actually is tiny. This bumper does not cover much, it's just like a little nose. So this isn't going to be that bad. I'm going to have to take the grills out. I won't be able to. Yeah, I don't think I can take the grills out. I think they'll just have to be taped up because a couple of the bolts are stripped, and it took me about almost half an hour to drill out one of them, so I kind of don't want to have to go through that process again. The L82 logo or emblem on the hood was held on with speed nuts, super easy to get off. The fender emblems, you can just pry off with a screwdriver like I did in the front. You should use a heat gun, otherwise you're going to pull up the paint like this. So now I have to do body work there, but I have to do body work everywhere else, so I don't care. Yeah, the grill thing is going to bug me now, but I'll get it figured out. Got the lower wind deflector out, whatever it's called. There's that little cover thing down there that can be removed with like the 3 compartments, but those bolts are not coming out. The bolts in the cover, the wind deflector thing, basically all of them stripped or broke except for maybe 2. So that's an old car for you. I got the front grills out. The passenger side actually, I already fixed it so all the bolts came out. This side, I had to drill out one bolt. Got it out, so that's good. So now paint can be covered in here. I gotta clean up the mess that's in here, but this is the aftermath of drilling out a bolt. Still got it stuck on the drill, using a left-hand drill bit. Pretty nice. Yeah. Not sure exactly how I'll put it back in, but I mean there's plenty of other holes that still work, so should be able to figure something out. Alright, now I can stop procrastinating and start sanding. Day 4 of part 2. Got the front bumper all sanded. Still working on the little undersection there, but I'm just going to sand that down with, probably just scuff it with 400 and then sand it off for paint like that. Also put electrical tape around my thumb to prevent a blister, because when you're using your thumb in those corners, you can get blisters, and I felt one coming, so that was my solution. So I sanded down the front bumper, stepped up to 220, so that's good. Let me show you. There's some spots that need to be touched up. Here in the front, you can see the yellow. That's the urethane under. So that's through all the paints and the adhesion stuff. That's straight urethane. I had to sand it down because there was chips down that deep. But really, like, you sort of feel it with your finger. I'm going to choose not to fill in those, just because this bumper urethane is flexible. Body filler is not. I do know they make flexible body filler, I just don't have access to that, so I'm going to choose just to sand it as smooth as possible and deal with it like that. I don't believe there's any spots on the bumper that actually need work, except for this spot right here. So that one actually needs body filler, so does this one here. There's a big chunk missing. Body filler needs to go. The headlights, this edge needs to be redone with body filler, and that means this headlight bucket needs to come out, because I can't make a good edge with it in there. The edge chipped in the first place because someone painted it with the headlight bucket in there, and the paint just kind of fused together and never separated since. Now, the big problem here, the hood. The hood has these little specks. I think this is technically crow's feet. I've never seen crow's feet once the paint is all sanded down. I've only seen it on paint, like going through the clear coat, diving into the fiberglass or metal, whatever it is. So I'm going to call it crow's foot. Let me know if that's actually what it is, but that basically I can sand, and I'd have to level the hood a good amount in order to get rid of all that. Because if I paint it right now, you're going to see it. So I'm going to choose to just a light layer of probably the spot putty body filler for filling pinholes, since these are basically pinholes. But that's going to take a while. And then there's two spots in the front of the hood. This has a major crack that needs filled in there, and then some more, what I'm calling crow's feet down there. Now, I was messing with the car, getting it to run a little better. You'll be seeing that video after this video. Just kind of me explaining what happened, but basically I was leaning over the fender, and on a freshly sanded fender, the fiberglass is more susceptible to absorbing any sort of fluids. So the oil and grease and dirt on me transferred onto this fender. Some of it was probably already here. So I need to get that out, and I'm going to try using Dawn dish soap. I've heard if I do that a couple times, it should get out. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get a wax and grease remover, because you can't paint over that, because fiberglass will not like that, and the paint will not stick. Alright, I believe this is day 5 of part 2, and as you can see, I have a mess of tools right here, drill bits out, and yeah. So, I got that bezel out. Of course, the flathead screw, for a flathead screwdriver, stripped out immediately. Like, it wasn't deep enough to get enough bite in the screwdriver, so I mean, I almost would have had better luck putting a coin in there and trying to turn it. And I want to take both of those off so they can be painted separately, because they should be the color of the car, and I just want them refreshed, repainted. And then I need to do some body work on this little lip here. So this is what happened when this headlight finally popped up for the first time. It just pulled some paint off because the paint was holding it down. But I gotta fix that, and I need kind of the edge so that way I don't overdo it. So I was working on trying to remove this. I spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove this headlight bezel. There's only 5 bolts, and then you can pull off the 2 hoses to the actuator, and then you can drop it as an assembly. Basically 1 bolt here, 2 bolts there, and then 1. But these 2 you need a wrench to get to, unless you pull the front support out. And basically the one here was stripping, and you can only get a wrench in there. There's no room to drill it out or get any sort of socket or something there. And I got the back 2 out. There's actually 2 bolts missing, so I'm going to try to adjust that when I put it back together. But basically, with the back bolts out and this bolt out, there's only this bolt in. And I lowered the headlight, and now it's lowered enough to where I have room to fill this edge in. So I just got to cover this, and I'm going to sand this down to 80. I'm going to do a thin layer of body filler and try to knock this out really quick. That way I can put the headlight back on and not worry about it. One less thing to worry about. Alright, after wrapping up the bodywork on this passenger side headlight, I got it pretty good. You can see there's some spots where I sanded too much towards the edge, and they're just like tiny little cracks, but there's some pinholes here that need to be touched up. So like this would really honestly be acceptable, but I'm gonna go over it with a really fine filler, probably like this spot putty. Same with that. And so basically when I touch it up, that's all I have to do. So you saw me, I started off sanding it down to 80 before applying the body filler. Apply the body filler, and then I use my machine. I only have 120, I don't have 80 on my machine, but it still works. It just takes a little longer. Sanded the edges down to get it all smooth with 120, and then I started roughing it down with 80 until it was about level, and then either use 150 or 120 and just kind of feather it into the edge. And once it was close enough, I got it with 240 and made it real smooth to really blend it in. So now it's really nice. Real test is when I put the headlight back up, but I might just wait to do that. I think I'm gonna wait to put the headlight up till I have the complete thing finished with the spot putty and all that. And I still need to do this rear bumper. I'm actually gonna do it tonight, or at least try to get half of it done tonight and then finish it tomorrow. Basically, the top half of it doesn't have any clear coat, just a tiny bit over back there, and then I have to remove the tail lights and kind of sand the little openings because they got a little bit of clear coat left in there, so that's not going to be fun. And then the lower half has clear coat, so that needs to be taken care of, and that's what's going to take a while because I have to get the clear coat out. That means I have to sand a little more aggressively, but also I don't want to bend or damage this urethane bumper because it's so brittle. And I'm going to finish up the bumper tonight. I'm going to end this video here so I can at least get it out there. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.